How do I know that I'm suffering? What is brain versus what is mind? Are we slaves of our memory, madam? If at all I have to say that the things that could bother anybody mentally is the memory that he has about his or her past, or perhaps some imagination that might happen. When cooked up story of the future. Madam, you have to expand a little bit on nervous system. What is it comprised of? Where does it start? Where does it end? Where are the boundaries? Madam, are thoughts physical matter or are they mystical? It's just somebody who takes time to decide, or it is automated decision. But there can be reaction, the meaning. That means if I change the meaning, my reactions will change.
That's right.
So meaning is just a point of view. Which is more powerful, the frontal lobe or the reptilian brain? Because this has evolved over billions of years. This is ekdam naya hai. Somebody having physically a bigger frontal lobe, I say let's a bigger forehead, like more than that frontal lobe. Can we consider that person to be wiser? I'm happy. I won't say I'm happy. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
People have problem with me to being so chill. I have, it's natural. I don't know. It's just any problem with me. Hello, Veron, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
I am doing fine, madam. Madam, this is a special episode for me. In a way that you as a guest, for me, it's the first time I'm having somebody who was actually not working in India, but has had experience of working all over the world. So, madam, the thing I know about you with the workshop you have done today, Padya, is that you are a mental health coach, you are a mental health dialogue facilitator, and you are a trainer. And your workshops and your clients are from across the world. Right now. Yeah. So I want you to introduce yourself to my audience as loud as it can be. Legal.
Okay. So thank you very much for having me. I am Mahima Shrestha. I am originally from Nepal. Like you said, I haven't done anything in India before. This was my very first workshop in India. I work in 10 countries, Singapore, South Korea, US, UK, New Zealand, France, Spain, Norway, and now India.
All right. So when I hear this term, mental health, there are two words. One is mental, which we assume, we consider it to be something that's psychological, and that's health. When I say about health, again, I consider it to be biological or let's say physiological. So am I making a right, let's say, assumption, or am I going somewhere wrong?
So you're correct, but I also want to challenge that worldview in which we think of mental health as a purely psychological phenomenon. Because as I was speaking in the workshop this morning, our mental health, our psychology, our thoughts, feelings, emotions, they have a tremendous impact on our biology. So they're not independent of each other.
Would that mean a child who has not yet started thinking, let's say a child who hasn't developed language, he wouldn't think much, will he undergo mental health?
So mental health, just like health, is something everybody has.
We have it.
Just like everybody has health. If you have a body, then you have health. You have certain degree of health. And it's the same with mental health. So we've got used to, I think, in our vernacular, talking about mental health as if we mean mental issues. You know, when we say I don't need mental health, what we mean is that I don't have any mental problems, so I don't need mental health support. So I want to move us away from that paradigm into the fact that you have a brain, you have a body, you have a nervous system. That means this conversation around mental health is relevant to you. Because whether you acknowledge it or not, you are impacting your body and your health.
But, okay, let's say body health. It's quite evident that I have some issue with my body health because, it can be felt. when you talk about mental health per se, we don't know if we have an issue or we are just doing good. I mean, I wouldn't know that I'm suffering from any mental health issue because I would consider simple emotions like happiness, sadness, anxiety, for that matter, any kind of emotions that's within the range to be regular human emotions.
Yes.
So do I have to put that in that bracket?
No, so I think, first of all, to think about mental health in the same breath as mental health issues, I think that is a mindset we have to break. Because mental health, there is in every aspect of health, you have a spectrum. You have optimal health, and then you have pathology, right? Once you have pathology or disease, you need a specialist
Right.
to handle it for you.
Right.
Right? So you're not going to try and handle pathological stages of disease with self-help. And it's the same with mental health. There is a spectrum from optimal, which is who knows what, right? Exactly. And there is pathological. But in between that, there is a huge range which also falls under self-responsibility and self-management, which affects your quality of life.
My question, madam, here is how does one identify that I'm actually bringing that issue in here? How do I know that I'm suffering mentally? What are the pointers? Let's say behavioral. How do I put it? Is it the words that I make out? Is it the mood that I show? Or how do I know if I'm anyway suffering from mental health?
So I would say that there is, like I said, a pathological end of the spectrum, right? But the day-to-day kind of mental health that you and I are talking about, which is in our day-to-day, we have ups and downs. And you're asking, how do I know if it's normal or if I need help? Is that what it is?
Exactly.
Right.
I'm thinking most of all.
Okay.
You are a specialist.
Okay. So first of all, I would say that mental health services as a whole have become a lot more accessible than they used to be. So if you feel like there's something that you maybe want some help with and you're not sure, do it just like you would with anything else, right? You're like, oh, I want to learn coding, but I'm not sure how. So first you might find out a bit more information about it. You might see if there's somebody in your area who teaches it. You might speak to other coders and say, hey, I was thinking this. Can you help me? You might seek a professional to teach you, right? So it's the same as gathering information about anything else. I think the aspect of, is there a way that you can say for sure someone has a mental health issue and needs help? Once you're out of the extreme end of the spectrum, there is no correct answer to that.
Okay.
Right? And you were saying, with our bodies we can feel, but
yeah, if your eyes are red, your face peace, just a.
But have you ever had anyone in your family, or maybe you, or that, you had a little pain somewhere and it lasted for a little while. You thought maybe I should show, maybe not. Other people in your life are like, you should show, but you haven't gone, right? So even physically, you have the same kind of challenge, right? You have something and you're trying to decide, is this something I can handle on my own? Is this something that I just need to rest and then it go away? Or is this something I need a specialist for? So this is the same kind of spectrum.
So on the bad side of spectrum, what exactly happens? Let's say the worst kind of mental health. I'll put it very bluntly, disease. What do we see there? What do you witness there?
See, mental health as a condition, that when you have a mental health condition, then the primary thing you want to know is are you functional or not? Once a person stops being functional, then you know that, there's a problem, because in their daily life, they're not able to function. Either they're clinically depressed, for example, can't get out of bed for 5 days, right? Either they have a psychotic break, and then oh my God, somebody needs to help this person, right? So the inability to function in your daily life is at the extreme end, right? Where it's visible to everyone that you're unable to function and something has to be done. But there is a vast other spectrum where something can be done that improves your quality of life, that improves your quality of mind and of relationships, but it's not pathological.
Madam, I'll ask you something technical here. What is brain versus what is mind?
This is a very, very long dialogue. brain versus mind is something that is still being discussed today. And there is still no consensus. So there is a group of people who say that mind is a phenomena of the brain, right? That there's a brain, it has neural activity, and one of the side effects of that is the mind or is consciousness, right? And then you have another side of the spectrum that says, no, consciousness is pre-existing.
That is a spiritual aspect or like
Yes.
scientific as well.
Well, it is increasingly becoming scientific subject matter, which is not just that there's consensus, there is more interest and research.
Are we slaves of our memory, madam? Like, if at all I have to say that the things that could bother anybody mentally is the memory that he has about his or her past, or perhaps some imagination that might happen when cooked up story of the future.
Yes.
Somebody that's been relevant at present in the moment might not ever be mentally, uncomfortable. And I don't think any statement here that was meaningful. I don't know.
No, there is. Because when you say, are we a slave to memory? That's a very, very good question. And so much of, I think, more traditional psychology and psychotherapy was oriented around the fact that your past, human beings, their past is inherently damaging. And so the rest of our life, the best we can do is recover from what has happened. But if you look at the evolution of psychology, particularly as it relates to crisis and trauma work, modern trauma work is a very, very elegant body of work to free, because when you say, are we slaves to our past, what I'm getting is that our nervous system is hostage to our memories of the past. Right? So things happen and we have memories of them, and every time we think about them, it triggers our nervous system to react in a certain way. So it might be with anxiety, it might be with grief, it might be PTSD, it might be CPTSD, either of those things, right? That something has happened in the past that when I think about it now, it gives me that same reaction. So the short answer to that question, are we hostage to that, is 100% not, right? Like modern trauma work is very, very elegant at freeing your nervous system from baggage from the past.
Madam, you have to expand a little bit on nervous system. What is it comprised of? Where does it start? Where does it end? Where are the boundaries?
So nervous system means your brain and your spinal cord, right? And the whole bundle of nerves that stem from there, right? So a lot of, for example, you were talking about neuroscience earlier. The nervous system includes all of that. It includes your whole... So there is a couple of different things. There is the sympathetic, there is parasympathetic, autonomic. So these are all different aspects or different functions of the nervous system, and they do different things. Some are excitatory. That means they increase the energy and excitement in the body. Some help to calm and restore, right? So the nervous system is a whole body system that informs your body about the level of
networking. Is it?
Pardon?
It is the information networking.
Yes, absolutely. And it informs your body about what it has to do. Is this a time to get calm? Is this a time to spike a lot of adrenaline? Is this a time to sleep and rest?
The nervous system besides by itself.
No. So this is where the big studies on epigenetics is so helpful, because what they're discovering is that your mind, right, or your psychology, or the things you think and believe and feel have an enormous impact on your body, right? Even to the level of genetic expression, right? So the nervous system is one of the ways that is the interface between your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, emotions, and the physiology.
Okay. Madam, are thoughts physical matter or are they mystical? Like, if I think, okay, Madam Shrestha is here, she's looking pretty.
Yeah.
It's a thought somewhere here.
Yes.
Does it have any physical expression?
So it is physical to the extent that it is a function of neural activity, right? So when somebody is in a coma, as far as we know, they are incapable of having conscious thoughts like yourself.
It's like a dead body.
Right? Exactly.
Breathing.
But it's breathing.
No, it is sentient, but it's
Exactly. So thoughts are physical to the extent that they are a function of neural activity. That if there is no neural activity, they are not existent. Right? But the impact of thoughts is what I would say is non-physical, because I think something. Right? So I think, oh, the room is cold. Right? And now there's sensory information coming in. There's temperature on my skin, right? There is sights and smells and sounds. But my brain has to somehow make meaning out of that. I had to somehow decide, does that mean I'm cold? Does that mean I'm comfortable? Does that mean I'm uncomfortable? Does that mean it's a signal to action that I have to get up and change the temperature?
That's not my question. Was who decides that meaning?
You
Is it-
said.
no. That's fine. Like, it's just somebody who takes time to decide, or it is automatic decision.
No. So it can sometimes seem automatic because they're so split second sometimes, right? That like irritation, for example, when you get irritated with someone else, it can be so fast that it seems automatic. But there is always a meaning maker in between the stimulus that's coming in and the feeling or the reaction I'm having. I am the meaning maker.
Okay. So I has to be there.
Yes.
Me and myself has to be there.
Yes. Otherwise, there's no meaning.
But there can be reaction without meaning.
There can be reaction without meaning of the physical type, right? So you
Irritation
It-
cannot be considered a physical fact, right?
no,
Getting
because it has physiological symptoms, but it is an emotional reaction. And emotional reactions are a function of the meaning you have made about what has happened.
All right. That means if I change the meaning, my reactions will change.
That's right.
So meaning is just a point of view.
That's right. It is just a point of view. Yes.
Then entire game is solved. Then
Yeah.
if I'm depressed, I just have to change the meaning.
Well, yes, but also there is a way in which the reality we live in is thought created, right? We're making meaning about what's happening all the time.
Yeah.
But we don't realize that. We think some things are just true. Like some things are just irritating. Some things are just scary. Some things are just good.
We have the bias there based on repetition of the reinforcement of the opinion that I've made for a particular phenomenon.
That's right.
And that's why perhaps it's automated.
It can feel automated.
But then if I consciously change my point of view, would it change my reaction
Absolutely.
immediately, or will it take time?
Absolutely. Because when you have your existing point of view, your reaction is snap second, right? Something happens and you're irritated. You don't need a moment to decide to be irritated. You just get irritated because of the meaning you have.
But meaning has been asserted over time, right? The meaning didn't come at once.
Yes.
It needed to be repeated.
Well, it depends. So, for example, a phobia. Sometimes you just have to get stuck in a lift once and you have that phobia forever, right?
And now it makes sense. That's correct. Okay, one time experience and you make some meaning out of it.
That's right. But you made that meaning very important, very significant, so that you said, never again am I going to have this experience. This is just totally not repeat. Then you develop a phobia, right? But it's a single exposure.
All right, there's something called conscious brain and unconscious brain. Let's say,
Conscious mind and unconscious mind.
brain is the brain. Is it
Yes,
true?
exactly.
So, in my childhood, I was scared of darkness. And that was my practice for quite some time. Let's say up till 25, 26 years of age, I was still scared of darkness. But the later stage, when I developed scientific temperament, I understood that darkness is nothing but the essence of light. All right. Then I understood that. So my fear of darkness was gone.
What point of view changed?
But then, now we have light here. Suddenly it becomes dead dark, pitch dark. I think my immediate reaction would be to get scared. It only takes me some few seconds to get back in my senses and say, oh no, there's nothing to be scared of. But then I'm again convincing myself that there's nothing to be scared of. But my natural reaction is to get scared.
Well, I think the fact is that we had instincts, right? So we have, for example, in little babies, loud noises and falling there's already an instinctual fear of those.
That's evolutionary.
Exactly. But they have a purpose, right? So the purpose is not that I want my life and my nervous system to be such that it doesn't react to things. And reacting to things is not a problem. But you also have a huge forebrain that is capable of reasoning, that has huge executive decision-making powers.
That comes later, right?
Yes, but now as adults, we have them, right?
We don't open about.
Exactly. So we have the option that I might have an instinct that when we interact about something, I might get irritated. I have the option to go with that and take that as the only valid point of view and get irritated and say, I don't want to do this anymore. Or I might bring to bear my very large available frontal brain and say, is that what I want?
Correct.
And make different choices. So that capacity to look at what's currently happening in my life, how I'm currently handling my life, and ask myself the question, is this what I want? That is an executive and essential function for mental health.
Getting scared of darkness is something to do with my reptilian brain right now. Is it?
Well, in a very instinctual level, yes, but most of us are conditioned to be afraid of dark. If you grow up in a world with no electrical lighting, you would have different reaction to dark.
That's your natural state of being.
That's right. So there is a natural fear when you suddenly could see something and now you can't. But there is also conditioning aspect to those fears.
Which is more powerful, the frontal lobe or the reptilian brain? Because this has evolved over billions of years. This is एकदम नया है.
Yes.
Special है.
Yes.
कौन ज़्यादा powerful है?
Well, it depends because on one hand, there are many aspects of mechanics in our world that have been around for several hundred years, right? And the internet is a baby.
Correct.
Comparison.
It's fun.
Right? But it's difficult to make that comparison. Is the internet better or is a kettle better? Is a bed better? Is a wheel better?
I got your point. Actually. This could be senior. But
yes.
Then you gave the analogy of internet.
Yeah.
Then it is way more powerful, although it's just infant.
Yes.
And in comparison with this technology that has worked over the years. I get that. Again, madam, a technical question. Somebody having physically a bigger frontal lobe, I say let's a bigger forehead, like more than that frontal lobe, can we consider that person to be wiser or having higher IQ?
See, if there's one thing I've learned from being in the mental health and crisis space for the last 16 years, is that your brain is only as good as you're willing to use it to be.
Okay, even it's all right, I get it now. But means the potential of head is infinite.
Absolutely.
How much you
And even if your forehead is small and your forebrain technically is like a few millimeters smaller, if you're willing to use it, you are using it better than somebody. So I don't know whether there is actually an implication of physical size, but I do know from all of my work that the brain is only as good as you're willing to use it.
That's a very convincing answer. Although you claim to have not known the answer, but there's a pretty profound answer you made. Correct. Ma'am, since this is our first conversation, we are going very random with my question. Don't mind me if we are not taking a linear path. We will do that in the future. So I'll ask you another very random question. All right. Now, there's a discipline called psychology. There's a discipline called psychoanalysis or something. There's a discipline called social psychology. I know there are so many different branches of psychology. Then there's psychiatry. Then, so many, let's say, specializations. Could you tell us, let's say, one-line specific differences between all of them?
I'm the wrong person.
Really?
Yes. So I don't have a good answer for you. But also, I think...
Okay, what is the definition of psychology?
Well, psychologic is the root word. And actually, the root word for it comes from the word soul. So
you say soul?
Yeah. So the root word is the study or understanding of the soul.
Soul.
Now,
what is soul, madam?
I don't know what the technical definition of soul is.
What is your definition?
for me, when I think about soul, what I mean is the kind of innermost and maybe more infinite qualities of our being.
There is a definition. Let's say that. That's correct. Someone, let's say you, as a professional in the domain of mental health, is there a chance that you will actually suffer a mental breakdown at times, or you're immune to it?
Look, I think the fact that life is happening all the time, and we have a brain and nervous system that is doing its best to understand what's happening and cope with it. There are, besides the kind of genetic and chemical propensities that anyone might have, there's always a chance that any of us in our lifetime, we need mental health support. Now, that support could be anywhere on the spectrum, from a conversation like this to having a brainstorming session, or to having a counselor or a therapist or a psychiatric ward. The support can be at any level of detail, but it's absolutely possible that there are times in any of our lives when we will require support. And if you are in one of those times of your life, I encourage everybody watching to seek support.
But you will have a better understanding about your issues than a normal being, right? A regular person.
Well,
because you are
yes and no. Because so some things I will have a better understanding of because of the nature of my work. Some things that maybe other people don't notice when it happens, I might notice, right? And so in that way, yes. But in the other way, we're like fish in water, like in our own mental landscape, right? Our own mental and emotional landscape feels real to us. It just feels true. So we are not always the best people to notice, right? Just like when you're very stressed, somebody in your family might be better placed to accurately say that you're stressed than you are.
What do you have to say about people who claim to never be stressed at all?
Good for them.
Is it possible?
Well, yes and no. At a physiological level, it's not possible because you have a nervous system that's reacting all the time to what's happening, right? So,
but giving meaning to it.
Yes. Now, I think we have a very specific idea of what a stressed person looks like, right? So we think a stressed person looks anxious. We think they look scatty. We think they have maybe a frown on their face. And if I'm not one of those people, then I might say I'm not a stressed person. I had no stress, right? But the honest way to find out if you are truly never stressed will be to talk to your family, because they will tell you.
Actually, madam, if I bring my personal life in it, I've become a person who never gets angry. It's been quite long. I'm telling you, more than a decade. I have not witnessed my anger. Nothing irritates me. Am I going wrong? I mean, I'm okay with anything. Seriously.
Is that a problem?
That's what I'm asking. I don't know. I mean, I'm happy. I won't say I'm happy. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
People have problem with me to being so chill. I am. It's natural. I don't know. There's any problem with me.
Look, for me, with this whole aspect of like temperament or personality, right? Like I have certain traits, like I am very patient, or I don't get easily angry these days, or whatever. Now, for me, there is no version of life in which it's right or wrong. Like, is it okay if I never get angry? Is it okay if I get angry? For me, the answer is yes, it's okay. The person who can answer that question is, number one, you. Is it presenting you with a problem? Right? Because if it is presenting you with a problem, for example, I don't feel very motivated to do anything. Right? Is that in itself a problem? No. But
it should be a problem, no, madam?
No, but the question is only that person can answer, right? Is it a problem in their life? Are there things they want to achieve in life that they're not achieving? Are other people in their life okay with that, or is that affecting their relationships? Right? But if none of that is happening, a person is within their right to be motivated, to not be motivated. Right? So I mean, I really encourage people to move away from this analysis of personality as right or wrong.
Okay.
For me, that is a functional question. Is that working for me? Okay. And if it's not working for me, then would I like to do something different?
All right. I get it. If there's any utility of what your state of being, if it's serving you, well and good. It is not, then talk about it. Over the dialogue. Oh, yes. लोगों को कहना ऐसे मैंने कहा कि why don't you ever get angry thanks? And I'm like, नहीं हो रहा है. So that's why I wanted to know if am I कहीं अलग डिसीजन जा रहा हूँ, but I get my answer now. एक चीज मुझे थोड़ा स्ट्रेस देता है. मैडम, जब मैं किसी को टाइम देता हूँ, like today I gave you time to be reaching by 3:30, but because of the intense traffic on the way, I was late by, let's say, 15 minutes. Now, that 15 minutes in my brain expands to like 15 hours. I get a little stressed there actually when I don't reach I want a deadline, the time which I had committed to. I'll repeat my question. How can I deal with it, or is it correct? Is it good to be serious about reaching on time, or be punctual, or it is doing you wrong? Because let's say some cortisol gets released, and I think when I'm even late by 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay, so I give you an answer that has a couple of aspects to it, right? So number one is, again, should I be stressed or should I not? For me, that is not a functionality question, right? So if you say, for example, that I get stressed.
I need.
So if you would like to be less stressed about that, you can do something about that. But is it's okay? It's 15 minutes. You're stressed for a little while and then you recover and it's fine. Then it's fine. If you would like to change that, there are many ways in which you can change that. One of which you might have learned this morning. But there are
the technique.
That's right. So the question again with anything that's about like how you're dealing with life is that working for you? Right? If you are a person who in your day-to-day life, you have to have timings and you routinely live in an environment where there are delays, either because you have someone else that comes there and you can't tell them to leave, but you can't leave before they go, either because if that is a daily aspect of your life, then you really want to look at like, how can I handle this better? Right? If it happens every once in a while, one aspect is if you'd like to change it, you absolutely can. Another is that it's totally normal in the course of our day for us to have spikes and dips in energy, in cortisol. It's a totally normal aspect of human life.
Okay, madam. For the unversed, what is the cortisol hormone?
So cortisol is a stress hormone. It is one of the collection of hormones that gets released when we're stressed. And in our modern lives, many of us are producing and carrying too much of it in our bodies.
It is the flight and fight wala hormone, right?
No, cortisol is more in the family of what we call wear and tear hormone.
It's wear and tear hormone.
Yeah.
Okay. The stress ka definition is wear and tear.
That's right.
I'm technical definition, engineering definition therefore.
Yes.
Forced by area. So it is force for the area.
And cortisol or stress hormones are a way of adding force to your system.
Okay.
Right? So
I don't advise about right. There's no utility of cortisol.
No, there is absolutely a utility. You require certain amounts of it for energy, for cognitive function, and performance gets boosted.
I thought your brain gets fogged otherwise.
No. See, all the chemistry in your body has a function and a purpose. All right. So, for example, you have hormones in your body and you have chemicals in your body that if somebody, like if a tiger were to walk into this room and chase you, you would release those hormones, right? And they would help you by focusing your attention, finding an exit and running like hell, right? There is a collection of hormones. There is a single hormone that does a single.
I always assume that to be the cortisol.
No. There is no single hormone that has only a single function. It is kind of families of hormones that have a combined effect, right? So in the analogy of getting chased by a lion, if you use that same amount of activation in your daily life that is introducing additional force to the system.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
The soul
It's
is on fire.
Exactly. It's not that
No eyes.
LSD is bad. You need it. If a lion chases you, you need it. But if you try to live your day-to-day life from that level of stress, then that is dysfunction.
Correct. All right, madam. Lately, this Gen Z people has been introduced in term called dopamine. We have been using, dopamine word has been misused or used abundantly in today's breeds. What exactly it means?
So dopamine,
Dopamine or dopamine?
yes, either. Yeah. So dopamine, many years ago when I first heard about dopamine when we were in college, it used to be thought of as like the feel good kind of hormone that you take a substance and you get a hit, right? And dopamine used to be thought of as that reward circuitry in the brain. Now what has happened is that our knowledge and understanding of dopamine has vastly increased, right? So it is more a motivation circuit than specifically a reward circuit, right? So it's not just that you do something good and it releases dopamine. Yes, it does. But dopamine, your dopamine stores are also what motivate you to achieve a reward, right? So for example, if you want to start a new habit, right? If you want to start a new habit, and our old version of dopamine is that, you make a checklist and then when you tick it off, you feel good, right? But our current understanding of dopamine is that it's not only the tick when you feel good, but your dopamine reserves help you to achieve that thing so that you can have the tick. But the trouble for most of us is that we are over using our dopamine stores, right? So if you look at how a lot of social media is designed, it's quick hits, right? The algorithm gives you exactly what you want. The next video is similar to the previous one.
Then we are going back to the traditional definition with the social media.
Yes, but with the added nuance, we understand that it is actually you're depleting dopamine by doing that.
Dopamine has a fixed reserve.
It is a replenishable resource, but it is a finite resource. So for example,
a particular timeline.
Exactly. So if you spend it all, there is a time. It's like a swimming pool, right? So you empty it, then it takes a while for the water to refill.
So I can imagine a scenario, like let's say for the first hour of the day, I've been scrolling the reels, getting dopamine hit, and then I need to take on a big assignment later in the day. But since my dopamine has been exhausted, getting released all the time, then the motivational dopamine that you have come up with, lately that the definition being, my motivation to do the next assignment would suffer.
Yes, absolutely. And the piece that suffers is discipline. It gets a lot harder if you fire or you shy up your natural discipline circuitry, right? Your motivation circuitry, then discipline is very difficult because everything in your body is telling you to go for the quick and short next thing.
Actually, I always thought dopamine to be that reward hormone, but today I got it. A reward is the end product.
That's true.
But today you brought out a new concept that more than the end product, it is actually the process to reach there.
Yes.
The hormone that is needed to reach there is dopamine.
That's true.
Okay, dopamine done. Next is oxytocin.
Okay.
Tell me.
Now, oxytocin, I do not know very much about.
All right. Okay. Serotonin.
Serotonin also, I will not say anything about because serotonin.
But we are playing a seed.
Yes, but this is genuine. Like in the mental health conversation, there is an enormous component that is serotonin driven. So I don't want to add information that is partial.
One line, an overarching definition. At least because
I enter.
yeah.
So
Even
oxytocin
in some
is the love hormone, but it's not only romantic love. Like when you have a baby, an enormous surge of oxytocin gets released, which helps you bond.
So it's like a connection hormone.
Exactly. So it's a bonding.
So you feeling connected with your doggy.
Yes.
Is the play of the
oxytocin.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Serotonin, like
in a single line, I would say it's the feel good hormone.
Feel good was another set of this. क्या बोला था आपने? dopamine, money,
No. Reward.
and motivation.
Yes. But feel good. Like when you just feel happy, you feel upbeat, you feel peppy.
So, like, does getting intoxicated release oxytocin? No, serotonin, or does it release dopamine?
I am not sure because it would depend on what substance you take. But also some things like alcohol. In fact, this I'm not sure at all. But I think alcohol, in fact, suppresses serotonin.
Sex.
I don't know. Sex must release serotonin, but also endorphins.
What is that endorphin? I must.
So endorphins is like when you escape. Okay, so endorphins is like the first kind of time I heard about endorphins was the runner's high. You know, like you do a massive physical exertion and you get this big surge of like energy. And,
Oh, okay. I did feel that when I had a small stint going to gym. You feel like it. That is
yes.
okay. That's endorphin. Fantastic. All right. So your area is more on the mental side of it, not the biological part.
Look, I include biological information insofar as it impacts mental well-being.
So we'll have our conversation more than often. You'll get back to your work. I'll see you online. You have open small windows of so many possible linear depths that we can. So today, I think we might, let's say, end this conversation with you talking to my audience in that camera. Whatever. I mean, you as an expert, I wouldn't say advice, but let's say your message to them so that, as you said, you want this mental health dialogue to be public and to be beyond the closed door, so that everyone feels accommodated. I don't know if I'm dabbering anything, but yeah, please message the audience.
Okay. So I think first of all, I want to encourage people to think about mental health like they think about health. It's something that's relevant to everybody. If you have a brain, you have a body, this conversation is relevant to you, right? The other thing I want to say is that the world is getting increasingly more complex. And if you have a successful life, if you have an interesting life, it will get more and more complex. You will get more responsibilities. The stakes will be higher. Maybe you have more people that you lead. So the stressors in life, if you have a successful and interesting life, are never going to get less, right? And so what I want to invite every single person watching this to do is to upgrade their skills in self-management for mental health, for mental well-being, because it is going to be an essential life skill. So when I talk about future readiness, for me, I'm talking about this. I want people to be future ready inside also. We're upgrading our skills in all kinds of areas, but we're not upgrading our self-management skills. So anybody who's watching this, that would be my primary message. Please watch this video, look up things that are of interest to you, learn skills that help you regulate your own stress better. And I promise you, your future you will thank me for it.
Oh, fantastic, man. That was brilliant, man. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, and we'll speak again.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
If this is your first time here, welcome. I am Mahima. I am a transformational coach, and I work with people who are hungry for new possibilities in their life. People who are either in crisis, they have had something traumatic or challenging happen to them, or they're trying to lead their organization through a disruptive period, and are in desperate need for new possibilities, for a sense of spaciousness, perspective, lightness, insight about their situation so that they can move ahead into a bright future. And the other category of people that I tend to work with are people with big dreams. They have big dreams, big goals, big ambitions. And they don't yet know how to get people together, to rally a team, to motivate themselves, to keep plugging away until they reach where they want to go. And so because I work with these two very distinct ends of the spectrum of what happens to us in human lives, I have come to see that there is no person in the world for whom a greater possibility does not exist right now. There is nobody. There's nobody for whom today, no matter where they are right now, there isn't a greater possibility available to them. And so the whole focus of my work is to introduce and reintroduce people to this possibility in their life, to this space where life looks abundant in possibilities and choices, and to be able to make choices in their own favor, to be able to make choices that lead them where they want to go. And so that's the whole focus of my work. Whether you buy a product or you sign up for an event or you book a session, that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to come together as a pair or as a group or as a family and trying to see if we all look at this relationship, this situation, this goal from a space of possibility and a new perspective and fresh insight. What's really possible for me here? That's the invitation to working with me, to find out what possibilities exist that you haven't currently taken, and to try them, and to have this space of play and experimentation and adventure in your life, in your work, in your relationships. Come, try it. Thank you.